Well, hello there, everybody. This is Scott, SMI, retired. Today's talk about small businesses or hobbies is stump grinding. I normally wouldn't have done something as machinery as this, but some of the research I've been doing, I actually seen something local in my town. Um, some young guy in the 20s actually doing a stump grinding business, and he actually rented his machine and just doing a business. He loves working with his hand outdoors. He figured he'd do it as a hobby and maybe it will grow. He's helping to pay for his college, so he does this on the weekend. I didn't get so much into his advertising stuff, but let's talk about a little bit about the stump grinding business. See, it basically offers a high potential, often earning, you could probably 1 to 2 thousand a month maybe, by removing tree stumps from homeowners. Now, I ran into this a little bit because several times during the houses I've owned, I've had to hire tree people to come cut down. I've hired one that was like a monkey that climbs a tree with his ropes, and he cuts them down to really almost like a 3 foot tall stump. And it was a lot cheaper, so I didn't have the stump grinds. He claims that I can take a saw and make animals out of it. If any tree people tell you to do that with the stumps, you need to find someone else. The only reason is because over time, I don't care what you carve in the tree, it's still a dead tree or into the stump. It doesn't matter because it starts brittling and breaking off into just a terrible looking blob. That's what it is. So people save money by not having tree services stump grind. But did you know that you can look and probably hire someone a little bit less money, just come grinding it, or you can borrow one, go rent one and do it yourself. So, the stump grinding business is good for realtors, landscaper, contractors, homeowners. I think you just drive around town and pretty much can, look at people with stumps in there and then put a card on there and knock on the door and just say, hey, this is what I charge for, grinding your stumps to the ground. The key to it, though, is to make a plan, such as doing it. Are you doing it to make extra money? Do you like working outdoors? Do you have a way to transport the stump grinder, like a pickup truck or trailer or something like that? How big a business do you want? Or do you want to just make a few extra bucks a month? Really, I am a firm believer of jumping in with 2 feet. And when you jump in with 2 feet and go and then work your way out, it's pretty much worked for me most of my life. But if I do believe also in having a plan. Like right now, currently, I'm just trying a small business, buying used goods and selling them on eBay. I'm having a little success. The first month I did it, I sold a gross of $280, still made a profit. And this is the second month I'm trying it. And I just sold something today. So I'll talk about that some other time. But this stump grinding is a very, very unique business. Now, here's the first question. Do you want to rent or buy a stump grinder? This is where your plan is important. If you think you're going to really grow it, that means you got to jump in without looking back. I don't care what obstacles, just overcome them. Then I would say buy one. You could probably find pre-owned ones on Facebook Marketplace or maybe used equipment places. If not, places like True Value, Home Depot, a lot of them rent small stump grinders. And I think I got a little picture of a small one. Here's a little one right here that you can rent, and then you could just grind the stumps. So, if you rent it, it's probably going to be $150 to $250 a day, so you're going to have a certain number of stumps. I wouldn't say one stump and you're going to rent it for $150 and charge $150. That's ridiculous. But if they got 3 or 4, then you can probably rent one for $150 and then charge them $75 a stump and make a profit. Also, if you were to purchase a stump grinder, you're probably going to minimum do $1,000 and up, unless someone just got one laying around. Another important thing, let me show you a couple little pictures you'll see on here. This one's a little bit bigger stump grinder. You can see he's professional. He's got a hard hat, which I recommend. You got to have certain equipment, gloves, hard hat, maybe a rake, a shovel. Um, and here's one that's really big. This is probably a professional tree service. This thing probably is about, I don't know, $25,000, $30,000, maybe less, for you to, basically do it. Now, here's what's real important. Stump grinding is a machine, a dangerous machine. And it could probably, while you're grinding things, depending where it is in the property, it can kick big bark chunks somewhere. It could hit a car, a house, a window, a person walking by if you're not paying attention. So I would say 100% get liability insurance. You can get liability insurance even if you're doing it part-time as a hobby, because it's only about $45 to $95. I think probably a year. I'm not sure a month. I'll have to research that a little bit more. But I know you can get, even if it's $45 a month, you should be able to make that and just get liability insurance. That takes care of if something happens, you can actually fix it. I would also say research your stump grinding. That's important. You gotta, you can see right here, I'll just kind of put it over here. You gotta research how to remove tree stump. Maybe there's an opportunity that you have a relative or something, or someone you work for as a kid that knows how to do it properly. Maybe you can work in a summer with a tree company that does that and learn a little bit about the business. That's always good. Just tell them you just give them minimum wage and work for them, whatever it is. Because I look at it this way, so many people want top dollar from get-go. I got a degree in college, I should be making six figures. Well, you can't, because you don't have that experience. So to me, it's like going to school. If you were to work for a tree service that does stump grinding and they give you $15 an hour, guess what? You're getting paid to go to school. And you could do it just for a couple months and then quit if you want and try your own thing. So that's how I look at when you invest in a small business or hobby. Invest in it. Invest in yourself. Invest in education. Spend some hours looking at different things. You might have a contract people can sign. You can give them an estimate with the contract. Work around their days. You need to do some research in yourself for sure. But get that liability insurance. Marketing. That's the biggest thing for the marketing. I would say, realistically, marketing, let's see if we get it right here. It's easy for this. Now, I'll tell you in a second what I had told a relative that just started a little small doctor business and everything. But marketing could be low cost to free. It really can, because you're starting small. So, like I said, drive around the neighborhoods. I bet you can go to Vista Prints online and get magnetic car signs that say stump grinding, best prices in town. Here's your phone number. And drive around town when you go to Publix or Walmart or Target or just any old place, go out to eat. You basically are doing that now. You probably can get magnetic signs, I think, for less than $100. That's low cost marketing. Driving around the neighborhood, low cost marketing. If you do garage sales, that's great. You do a garage sale and check people, stumps out in their property and stuff like that make it good. Check on realtors selling homes. I would look up a realtor. A lot of realtors still do the magazines, not just online. But you may look even online at houses for sale and then look at the property. If you see stumps in there, I would email or call the realtor and say, look, I'm in the stump grinding business. I see you got a property you're selling. Do you need any kind of taken out of there? Boy, look at that. You just got yourself a nice little marketing for realtors, and there's thousands of realtors around your area, and there's thousands of listings around your area. So this is a great low-cost way to market yourself, to basically get more business. Now, I would say get an Excel spreadsheet and kind of mark down, make columns and stuff like that. and you just record when you did it, how you did it, how much you charge if you rented something, and just keep track of it. If you do things for receipts, nowadays a hobby and small business, they have what's called per diem, which means you should be, instead of saving a bunch of receipts, which I do recommend you do, you can do certain mileage. If you're driving around the neighborhood looking for business, I would record that mileage on that day and put it on your spreadsheet. If you ate a lunch out at a Burger King or some McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever you want to do, I would put it on the spreadsheet for how much you did. And when you go with your accountant, you should be able, you most likely would take a loss your first year unless you're really aggressive, and you would do a per diem. And that per diem is the amount that you can get off on your taxes for having a small business or a hobby. So I would definitely record everything, but I do recommend that you talk to your accountant about it. I talked to mine lately, and because I did the eBay thing, that's where I got that information about the per diem. I knew that back in my selling days. I used to record per diem. They give me a certain amount for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and mileage. So I knew how that came about, but I never knew I could do it with the eBay business. So, but you can definitely do it for the stump grinding business. So if you like working with your hands, you like working with your hands, you like the outdoors, it may be a seasonal thing, not a winter thing, I don't know, and you got a territory within your city and probably smaller cities around there. It's a big territory. Not everyone will pay for stump grinding after trees, but years down the road they'll look at these hideous stumps and they most likely are going to hire you. So if you like this kind of thing and working with machinery, do your research, get your education, get your liability insurance, and figure out if you're going to rent or own one. Save up money if you're going to rent it, and then you can buy one yourself. Make sure you have a trailer or whatnot. This could be a really, really nice business. I personally have never been in this business, but doing the research I did, it seems like if you do it right, it could be a lucrative business and or a hobby where you can make extra money every month and every year or whatnot. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Stump grinding business. It's a business you may want to do. So until next time, have a great week.